Are you watching us this Labor Day morning from an airport? If you are, I hope it's part of your planned time and you're not dealing with the delay, because that could be the story for some of us. Right now, though, we've got lots of green bubbles on the map. That's what we like to see, especially on such a busy travel day like Labor Day. A lot of people heading home from wherever they spent the weekend. Now, I will say the morning is probably the better part of the day, because as we know this time of year, we start to see that chance for storms building throughout the afternoon, and that could cause us some flight delays, especially for a place like, say, MIA. Whether you're flying out of MIA or FLL, you'll have some of those storms around. ATL, the busiest airport, when you start to see showers and storms and possible delays there, you know they can begin to stack up. Raleigh, Durham, same thing for you with some of those afternoon storms. Chicago should be fine. That's good news for you guys today. Dallas as well. Now, of course, it's not always about where you're flying from, but maybe where you're flying to, where your plane is coming from. So have to keep a close eye on that. I'd say this time of year, if you don't want to deal with delays, the better bet, especially if you're flying across the southeast, if you're flying in and out of, say, Florida, Texas, get out and in as early as you can, because we know those afternoon storms tend to bubble up and then they cause us delays, and that is exactly what we could be seeing. I know it's never fun to end the vacation early, especially if you have this nice long weekend, but it's worse if you're extending it because you have flight delays, right? Not just these skyways that are going to be impacted by this weather, but across Texas. We've got a couple different features that are impacting you, whether it's the coastal region or interior parts of Texas. Heavy rain could cause some ponding on the roadways. Some flooding could be an issue. Across the Sunshine State, going to be more like the rainy state from West Palm down through Miami. Some heavy rain at times. Tampa, Orlando, that I-4 corridor. If you're traveling that today, give yourself some extra time. Plan on slowing down. In Jordan, it's not just there. Through the Carolinas, we've got that possibility for some storms as well.
And we know
If you're rounding out your Labor Day at the beach, you want to be careful. Make sure you are swimming near lifeguards if possible, where we do have that risk of rip currents. For some of the panhandle beaches here in Florida, a moderate risk. But of course, that is all subjective, right? Because if you're not a strong swimmer, that moderate risk for most might be a high risk for you. So you don't want to end the holiday, in a sad way. You want to swim safely. Panama City Beach, absolutely perfect. Lower 90s, plenty of sun to start with a little bit of cloud cover in the later part of the day. We do have a risk for rip currents up and down the East Coast beaches. So whether you're going to Daytona, Vero Beach, any of the beaches there around Fort Lauderdale, you're going to want to swim carefully. Remember, if you get caught in that rip, don't panic. It will pull you out. It will eventually let you go. It won't pull you under, and then you can swim parallel to shore. And in Myrtle Beach, it's not just the risk of rip currents, but the risk for storms that you need to be concerned about and keep an eye on. You might be able to get out there here or there. It's not going to be, just a deluge all day, but you do have storms on and off all day in that forecast. If you hear the thunder, you need to be inside. That risk for rip currents, moderate risk for places like Ocean City, Virginia Beach, and the South Shore of Long Island. All of that coming together to mean if you're going to get in the water, you want to make sure you're being very safe. Don't swim alone either. Atlantic City, New Jersey, we're headed for the lower 80s with a nice mix of sun and clouds. Perfect day to stay on the sand for Labor Day, because we will have some weather that could be impacting you adversely across much of Texas. Rain, heavy rain, storms at times, especially for the Gulf Coast. And then you'll notice we've got some showers and storms bubbling up here for eastern portions of the country. Raleigh included in that, Raleigh, Durham, Atlanta, and most of Florida dealing with storms at some point today. So taking a look at our air travel delays, that we might see some delays across Texas, Houston included in that, and then also, Atlanta, the busiest airport. Whenever you start to see some delays there, they do begin to stack up. So might see some delays in or out of ATL, and then pretty much just going to throw all the Florida airports in that bag of seeing that possibility of weather-related delays. But before I keep being a damper on your Labor Day, let's talk about where we're having fantastic weather, because we had a cold front move through. We've had high pressure building in. And for a place like Pittsburgh, you're waking up to a little crisp, coolish start this morning. Buffalo, same thing for you. And then a fantastic day. If you like the slightly cooler weather, you've got that lower humidity, more sunshine. It's going to be really, really nice for that area. To the Midwest, the Great Lakes region, same thing. Indianapolis, 77 and sunny for Labor Day. You cannot get better than that. I will say, though, if you're headed out to, say, Lake Michigan to enjoy Labor Day at all, maybe you don't want to get in the water. Dangerous swimming conditions there. Maybe you're just staying on the beach, which is probably a better bet anyways, because the air temperatures are not actually that high. It might feel a little cool. Couple different elements that we're watching here. So we've got our disorganized low hanging out off the coast of Texas, but that is still helping to organize these showers and focus them there along the Gulf coastal plain. And then we've got just a mess as you look toward western Texas down to the Big Bend region. We're going to have rounds of showers showers and some heavier rain at times. That is going to slow you down on the roadways. That could delay some flights as well. And then, of course, could lead to some flash flooding. So talked about that crisp, cool air that we've got across the Northeast, anything but that. In New Orleans, in Jackson, Mississippi, feeling like the triple digits. Storms in San Antonio, that I-10 corridor, not going to be one of the places where you're rolling your window down and enjoying the weather on Labor Day if you're on the road trip back home, Jordan. Just
Splash. You'll get
whether
wet.
it's your sweat or the rain, either one.
Either one.
Yeah.
All right, check